Let's talk about misconceptions. There are lots of them out there regarding wine, and it can be scary. Part of why we do this show is to make wine more normal, more human, like Mythbusters, but with more wine, or any wine. Or I guess it's really not like Mythbusters at all. Today we're gonna highlight a grape that I'll be honest with you isn't one of my personal favorites, but it's really popular and widely available. It's Chardonnay. Let's do it. All right, so for our first Chardonnay, we have a Santa Maria Valley Chardonnay that's 2009 from Alta Maria Vineyards, which is in Los Olivos, California. Now, I had the pleasure of actually going to this winery and trying this wine a couple weeks ago. And I know I just said that I don't like Chardonnay, but this one I actually do like. Plus I love the nails on the label because they stand for the nails that the home builders used in Santa Maria before nails were mass produced. So they're all individual and totally different, just like their wines. All right. Gotta really swirl it sometimes, you know? Release the flavors. It's really mild. There's not too much of a nose coming off it, but it's like like a candy. It smells like a green apple Laffy Taffy. You ever had those? Almost like fresh cut grass, but not quite as strong either. Oh, you guys may have noticed that I'm using the same wine glass that I use for my red tastings normally. But that's because it really doesn't matter what glass you're using. They've done a ton of studies and discovered that as long as it's a standard issue glass, which is taller than it is wider, you're gonna be able to get the smells and taste just as well as if you're using a specialty glass. Personally, I love the specialty glasses. I think they're awesome to look at and super fun, but I haven't managed to buy any yet, and they're certainly not necessary. So there's no need to spend a ton of money buying those glasses if you don't want to. These work just as well. Oh yeah, I mean, you could just drink this with anything really that you're eating. Actually, I would just drink this by itself because it's so mild that I think anything is gonna overwhelm it. It's lovely. So while it's super mild, it's got a really heavy feel. It's not heavy, but like thick in your mouth. Like it's got a really substantial sort of buttery feeling that's awesome with a really smooth taste. It's nice. That's really a great Chardonnay. And again, I know I said I didn't like them, but this one is really exceptional. So about those myths. Wine needs to be aged, right? Everyone knows that, even people who don't drink wine. Well, guess what? Nope. Most red wines and almost all white wines do not benefit from aging. The truth is that most wines are made with the intent to sell it within 10 months, never mind 10 years. Think of wine more like a produce than a liquor. It changes as it ages, and it really comes down to personal preference. Like, think of tomatoes. I personally like green tomatoes, fried ones, obviously. You may like the juicier flavor, more ripe ones, or maybe don't even like tomatoes at all. Why are we talking about tomatoes? I don't know how that happened. Anyway, to wrap this up, someone once said it's much less of a tragedy to drink a wine too young than too old, and I agree. So let's move on to our next wine. For our wine under 9, we have a Flip Flop Chardonnay. That is a 2009 and it's from California. It is also a screw cap, which maybe I'll get into. Well, definitely I'll get into in another episode. It's very controversial. All right, so this is actually 100% Chardonnay. Very fun. And the fun thing about this label is I like to call this label a lifestyle label. And it's usually a label where they're gonna have some image of like flip-flops or a beach or sand or whatever to remind you of a more nostalgic time where you're on vacation. So you're thinking more about the feelings that you get looking at the label instead of focusing on the grape and the wine itself. So that you do this a lot with sort of the cheaper wines, the wines under 9, so that you're not too concerned with the wine itself, but it doesn't mean it's a bad wine, and we're about to find out. I love smelling wine. Okay, so we have pineapple, which is interesting. Normally, California wines aren't very pineapple-y. Got a little ahead of myself. Oh, wow. That's much sweeter tasting than it smells. It smells really smooth. and pineapple. It's even a little bit of like vanilla or something. But taste-wise, it like explodes in your mouth. It's a little bit sweeter than I normally like, but I don't hate it. It's $6.99. You can't really go wrong there, right? With this, you could probably drink it or with pair it with like pasta or even pizza or Caesar salads, because it's gonna hold up to a little bit of flavor because it's much bolder than the other wine where it was very smooth and you could drink it, you know, by itself. This, I think, it would temper down the sweetness if you had it with some pizza or pasta, even red sauce, basically. All right. So Chardonnays can vary very widely because they don't have too much flavor of their own right. So they're influenced a lot by where they're grown. So your Chardonnays are gonna change from California to Australia to France. They're gonna be different every single place that they're grown. So determining what to eat with it is a bit of a crapshoot. I don't know, it's gonna depend on the bottle. So I recommend tasting it first, or, you know, finding a website that gives good recommendations on that kind of stuff, or message me. I don't know, if I've had it, I'll let you know. I gotta be honest, I thought I wasn't going to like this one very much, but it's okay. Again, I prefer red, but I would drink this with pizza on a warm day. Lunch, pizza lunch, fabulous. Thanks for watching again and sticking with us so far. Again, hope you liked it. Feel free to comment, let me know what you think. Like my shows, subscribe to my channel. If you make a wine that you'd like us to feature, as always, send me a message. Get out there and start experimenting with new wines. And let me know what you're trying. Have you tried any wines that you love or that you don't like? I'd love to know. Ci vediamo un'altra volta. Until next time, drink up.